Hi, the name of this tutorial is Blender 2.49b Grease Pencil Tutorial. The Grease Pencil is a relatively recent addition to Blender, introduced in version 2.48. At first glance, the Grease Pencil looks like something out of a primitive paint program, and in fact it operates similarly to pencil tools in 2D image programs like the Gimp and Photoshop. What is such an apparently primitive tool doing in a sophisticated program like Blender? It seems so out of place. Was someone bored one day and decided to create a tool that creates doodles? Actually, the Grease Pencil originated from the early days of animation, where animators used an actual pencil to sketch out an animation. Blender's Grease Pencil can do this as well. As it turns out, the Grease Pencil actually has a lot of useful features. The purpose of this video is to suggest some of them. So let's start up Blender with the default cube. We'll ignore the cube and just concentrate on the Grease Pencil. To access the Grease Pencil, go to the View menu, selecting the Grease Pencil option. Click the Grease Pencil button. Here's a little gotcha. If you start drawing on the view instead of drawing, Blender rotates the cube. That's because the Grease Pencil requires a drawing layer, which is not turned on by default. Blender's hinting system interprets your attempts at drawing as a hint that you want the cube to be rotated. Blender's only trying to be helpful. However, that's not what we want here. So press Escape. Blender's Grease Pencil needs a layer to draw on. If you've ever used a 2D image editing program like the Gimp or Photoshop, the layer concept is very similar. Click the Draw Mode button. As soon as you do that, you can start drawing on the 3D window. You draw by left-clicking the mouse and dragging. Automatically, a layer called GP_layer is created with a black pencil. The pencil may appear to be drawing directly on the 3D window, but actually it's drawing on the layer. Here are some basic Grease Pencil features. Draw a non-straight line by holding the left mouse button and dragging. Stop the line by releasing the left mouse button. Place the 3D cursor at another place in the 3D viewport. To draw a straight line, hold the Control key as well as the left mouse button and drag. At first, even if you go off course, the line appears to be curved. However, when you finish drawing the line by releasing the left mouse button, the line becomes straight. To erase an area, hold down the Alt key and the right mouse button and drag. You can also erase stroke by stroke. Add a line. To erase it, click the Erase Last Stroke button. You can change the color by clicking on the color rectangle and choosing a new color, as you would choose a color anywhere else in Blender. Let's draw some lines and change their color to red. The color affects the entire layer. You cannot change the color of only part of a layer. However, you can create a new layer and change its color. To do this, click the Add New Layer button. A new layer dialog displays. The layers are stacked in a similar way to the Gimp or Photoshop. Change the color of this layer to blue. In addition to the color, you can change the pencil's thickness. Increase the thickness to 1 and make some thick blue lines. Add a green layer. Increase its thickness, and add a few green lines. Now we have 3 layers. As with the Gimp or Photoshop, we can change the active layer by clicking on it. Click on the blue layer to highlight it. Add a line. The line is added on the blue layer. We can also hide layers by clicking on the eye icon. Click on the eye to hide the blue layer. Only the red and green layers display, and the blue layer is marked as hidden. To make the blue layer visible, click the eye icon again. Let's look at opacity, an area where the Grease Pencil works in a slightly different way from an image editor. Turn the opacity of the blue layer fully up to 1. The layer is fully opaque, which is how image editor layers work as well. However, if you turn the opacity to 0, there's still a ghost outline of the original lines on the layer. Even turning the opacity to 0 in all the layers leaves a ghostly outline of the drawings. In an image editor, the drawings would disappear. If you want the layer not to draw, just hide it. You can draw in 3D space. To activate that, click the Sketch in 3D button. Rotate the view using the middle mouse button. Draw lines as you go. The lines are drawn in a third dimension based on the view that you're in. Okay, great, you might say. So we can doodle on our model. Big deal. Can we do anything useful with the grease pencil other than waste some time? Sure. Here's one idea. The grease pencil also works in the UV/image editor. To illustrate this, split the 3D window. Change the window type to UV/image editor. Click on Draw Mode. Draw a happy face. You can actually freehand draw directly on the UV image editor this way. If you want your doodle to be added to the image, click the Stick to View button. Here's another. Suppose you're part of a team that's building a new monkey character that's based on Suzanne, but with a somewhat different look. Let's start with the default Blender scene by selecting the Load Factory Settings from the File menu. Delete the default cube. Right-click, then X to confirm the delete. Add the monkey mesh. Space, Add Mesh Monkey. Get rid of the 3D transform manipulator, just for convenience. From the View menu, select Grease Pencil. Click the Use Grease Pencil button. Then click the Draw Mode button. Maybe you want her head to be more egg-shaped, so draw an egg-shaped head in black. So that's your annotations. Your teammate wants to change the monkey's color to look more like Spock's. So you attach the blend file with your suggestion. Your colleague can use the Grease Pencil tool. So your colleague adds a new layer, changes that color to red, and sketches the pointy ears. So she splits the 3D viewport, makes the right window a text window, and adds a new text area to add comments. So in this way, both suggestions are noted and you can work as a team. Another powerful feature is that grease pencil notations can be converted to a mesh as the start of modeling. To do that, select the layer with the new ears and click the Convert To button. Convert the ear sketch to a Bezier curve. Turn off the Grease Pencil tool. With the new ear Bezier curve selected, press Alt-C. So you can also convert the ear to a mesh and start modeling. So that gives you the full capabilities of Blender modeling. You can annotate an animation with the grease pencil as well. To illustrate this, start with the default Blender scene by selecting Load Factory Settings from the File menu. Get rid of the 3D Transform manipulator. Go to SR1 Animation Layout. From the View menu, select Grease Pencil. Click the Use Grease Pencil button. Then click on the Draw Mode button. Draw a black line. It's actually drawn on a layer associated with frame 1 of the animation. Now go to frame 21. Draw another black line. If you scrub the animation by dragging the green line in the IPO curve editor, you'll see that the line on frame 1 changes to the other line on frame 21. You can prototype how the animation looks in this way, and this is the way the old style animators worked. I hope this gives you some ideas for using the grease pencil productively. Happy blending!